We all have at one point or another heard a riddle that stopped us in our tracks as we pondered and thought about its multitude of possible answers. Since we were children, our parents, our friends, and even some of our teachers have used riddles to allow us to think critically and consider possibilities, outside of our immediate comprehension. A good riddle is a riddle that makes us laugh at the end, and you should all know adults can enjoy riddles as well. Let's start off with an easy one, so hopefully it won't take you too long to figure it out. Here it goes. I am the destroyer of mountains, the killer of kings. I always fly by, yet I don't have wings. I can end basketball games or marriages with similar ease, and though I flow like a stream, only water can freeze. I've murdered parents and children and houseplants galore, yet despite all this, you always want more. Who am I? If you couldn't figure that out immediately, then we seriously doubt you'd be able to do the rest of these. It's quite simple really. Time. The answer is time. Time is always ticking away around us, and be it monarchies, a sports game, or life itself. Number 5. A man is writing his will and he wants to leave everything he has to one of his 2 sons. Unable to decide, the dying man decides to teach his children a life lesson. The man buys each of his sons a luxury sports car, places them on a racetrack, and tells the brothers that they will race for his fortune. However, there is a twist. Whichever brother's car passes the finish line first, the other brother will get the entire fortune. After a month of both brothers refusing to cross the finish line in their cars, one brother comes out victorious. How did he win the fortune? Think you got it? It's rather simple really. The winning son stole his brother's car and crossed the finish line with it instead of his own. While not the most honest of approaches, you have to applaud him for finding a loophole. Number 4. Fair warning, this one is a little bit tricky. A 4-letter word, always done tomorrow. Without the T, the ultimate sorrow. Without the I, you owe me some money. No sugar, no nectar, no sweetness, no honey. 4-letter word, if by chance you choose, you can never win, you can only lose. What is the 4-letter word? Don't worry if this one stumped you. The answer is diet. And most of those lines were plays on words. Basically, without the T in diet, it becomes die, definitely sorrowful. Without the I, you would have debt, a homonym for debt, as in a debt to be owed. The 4th line is fairly obvious, you can't have sweets on a diet. Lastly, when you choose to diet, you can only lose weight. Well, assuming you're successful. Number 3. Well, you've probably heard this one before, it's classic and we couldn't but include it. A man lives on the 10th floor of an apartment building. Every morning he takes the elevator all the way down to the bottom and goes to work. In the evening, when he comes back from work, he gets into the elevator. If there's someone else in it, he goes to the 10th floor. On rainy days, he also goes directly to the 10th floor. On all other days, he goes to the 7th. Why? Figured it out yet? Stated plainly, the man is vertically challenged and is too short to reach the button for the 10th floor. When he leaves for work, he can reach the button for the bottom floor easily. When it's time to go back up, he either needs someone in the elevator with him to push it, or his trusty umbrella to increase his reach. On every other day, the highest button he can reach is the 7th. So he goes to that floor and takes the stairs the rest of the way. We got you on that one, didn't we? Number 2. If wordplay riddles aren't your style, we got just the riddle for you. But be warned, it involves just a tiny bit of math. You have a 5-gallon bucket and a 3-gallon bucket. How can you measure exactly 4 gallons of water from the faucet if you don't have any other containers? The answer is straightforward. First, you fill the 5-gallon bucket and pour it into the 3-gallon bucket, leaving 2 gallons in the big bucket. Next, empty the 3-gallon bucket and pour the 2 gallons into the empty 3-gallon bucket. Then, all you'd have to do is refill the 5-gallon bucket and pour its water into the 3-gallon bucket until the small bucket's full. This leaves exactly 4 gallons in the big bucket. This riddle is really all about principle and thinking outside the box, but don't be too concerned if you didn't figure it out. Number 1. The final riddle is all about the act of pressured thinking. A king has 3 beautiful daughters. You saved his kingdom and the king rewards you any one of his daughters' hand in marriage. The 3 daughters line up in front of you and frankly you cannot tell them apart, but you know that the oldest daughter always tells the truth. The middle has been known to tell both the truth and the occasional lie, and the youngest will always lie. For some prejudiced reason you wish to marry the oldest or youngest daughter, and at all costs avoid the middle one. Asking only one question of one daughter, how can you assure this outcome? Any ideas? Did asking one daughter which of the other two daughters is the oldest and picking the opposite cross your mind? No? Still don't get it? Well, if you ask the middle daughter, it doesn't matter who she points to. You're happy with the choice either way. If you ask the oldest, she will say the middle daughter is the oldest. So you pick the opposite. The youngest. Lastly, if you pick the youngest, she will lie and say the middle daughter is the oldest and you'll pick the opposite, the oldest daughter.